Hey, welcome back. It's Nolan Mathias from Mortgage 360, and today we're discussing buying a home in Canada, and specifically with an emphasis towards first-time home buyers. We're going to give you the step-by-step guide in 10 easy steps to purchasing your first home, or your second or your third if that's where you are in the process. But before we get into it, do me that favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and please hit that like button so more people like you can see this video. The definitive guide on how to manage your credit, product, penalty, price in that order. It's never been more important to get your mortgage right. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's discuss how to buy a home in Canada, because right now there's a heck of a lot of people doing that. And I want to make sure that everyone knows what the step-by-step process is to purchasing a home so that there's no surprises in the process when you go to buy that home. So let's just jump right into it and let's get into how to buy a home in Canada, starting with the very first step, which is saving for your down payment. Now, there's a whole bunch of ways you can save for a down payment in Canada. The most common one for first-time home buyers is to use the money that they have accumulated in their RRSPs, because you can borrow that money off of your RSPs for a 15-year period and basically have the ability to accumulate your down payment faster because of the RSPs that you've been using and the tax rebates that you've been getting as a result. So really common way to do that. Other ways to do it are to just save it in a TFSA or a normal savings account, use other forms of investments, or one of the more common ones lately is to get a gift from a family member, usually a parent. Now, the second step to purchasing your first home or to purchasing a home is to get pre-approved. Now, a lot of people put the realtor before this, but we put getting pre-approved prior to actually finding a realtor. And the reason why is because getting pre-approved is either going to allow you to go out and find a realtor and buy a house, or it is going to give you the next step in getting to the point where you actually will get approved if for whatever reason you aren't approved. Now, a pre-approval is really, really important, and you want to make sure that your bank or mortgage broker is collecting all of your down payment documentation, all of your employment documentation, and verifying them so that you know that you're actually going to get approved for the mortgage that you are applying for and subsequently be able to afford the house that you're buying. Now, step 3 to purchasing a home in Canada is to hire a realtor. Now, this is a really, really important one, and there's a big list of ways that you can hire a realtor. But what I recommend is that rather than going online to find a realtor or going and searching reviews or going and finding one in an open house, what I recommend you do is you go out and you survey people that you know. So either people that you work with, close friends and family, and just find out what their experiences were like with their realtor. And if you find somebody who says, you know what, you absolutely have to deal with the person that I dealt with because they did this, 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 and this, choose that person and avoid basically going out and trying to find a realtor online, because you just never know what you are going to get. The other big thing is, if you are dealing with somebody who's got a big team, you may not actually end up dealing with the team leader. You may end up dealing with a less experienced realtor. So that's one thing to watch out for as well. You want to get a first-hand recommendation from somebody that you know for the realtor that you are going to use. Now, step 4, once you found a realtor, is to go out and search for a house. Now, this is the really important part, and you want to make sure, again, you have a great realtor who's going to be candid about the positives and negatives of the properties that you're looking at. Because one mistake that we see people make often is they go and they find a home that seems like it's a great deal, not realizing that for the future it's going to have issues with resale because it backs onto a major roadway or a highway, or there's some sort of stigmatism attached to that particular property. So you want to make sure that you have a realtor who's going to be candid with you and make sure that he or she is looking out for your absolute best interests. And when you start that search for a home, what you want to do is you want to narrow it down to as few properties to view as possible so that you aren't spending a lot of time in a lot of houses and inconveniencing both yourself, the realtor, and the people who are selling those houses. Basically, what you want to do is you want to narrow down the things that you want and see if you can find 3 to 4 properties that meet those criteria, and then go and view those. And hopefully one of them is the property that you will end up buying. Now, the big thing here is some people go and they look at 20, 30, 40 properties and never find the property that they like. It creates a lot of stress for you. It creates a lot of stress for the realtor. It creates a lot of stress for the sellers. So if there's one piece of advice I can give you when it comes to the home search, it's try to narrow it down as much as possible before you actually go out and view houses. If that means going and looking around the neighborhood and looking at all the listings before you actually book appointments, fine. Obviously, in a hot market, you need to be quick and you need to be getting into look at houses really fast. So maybe that may not work, but if that's an option that's available to you, absolutely do it. Step 5 is to actually go ahead and write an offer. So what you're going to do when you write an offer is you're going to come up with a purchase price that you think is fair for the property. You are going to put in any financing conditions that you need. We highly recommend against writing an offer without a financing condition, unless you've got a backup plan, maybe parents, maybe family members, or maybe just the cash that you would need to purchase the property if something went wrong on your mortgage approval. And then you're going to have things like a home inspection included in that condition as well. And from there, you will submit that offer to the other side, or your realtor will submit it to the other side. There'll probably be some back and forth with negotiation. They'll probably try to get a higher price. Maybe they'll want a different closing date than what you've offered. And if you can come to terms at the end of the negotiating period, then what you will have is a conditional offer. Now, once you've had a conditional offer, you'll move on to the next step, which is getting fully approved. Now, when you get fully approved for a mortgage, they're looking at two things. They're looking at one, you, the borrower, which was the pre-approval, and if done right, shouldn't be an issue. But they're looking at number two, the property. And they want to make sure that the property is both something that is of the value that you are paying for it and in good condition, so that if for whatever reason you don't make your payments, then they will be able to foreclose on you and be able to sell that property. So they're looking at the property just as much as they are at the individual. That's why your pre-approval is only partially good, because it leaves out a pretty big piece of the actual approval process, which is the property itself. Then once you've got the approval done, or at around the same time that you're getting the approval done, you'll want to get a home inspection scheduled. And you want to go with probably your realtor's recommendation on who your home inspector should be. Some banks recommend home inspectors. I don't recommend that you take the recommendation from the bank. I recommend that you take a recommendation from your realtor on who to use for your home inspection. And then they'll go through the property with a fine-tooth comb. They'll look at the foundations, they'll look at the roof, they'll look at all of the appliances, the furnace, the water heaters. They'll look at everything and make sure that there's nothing wrong with the property. And now, if there is something wrong with the property, then you've got a decision to make. You are either going to move forward with the purchase and perhaps renegotiate the price, or if it's something that is not going to be feasible to fix, then you may walk away from the property altogether. If you're happy with the mortgage that you've received and you're happy with the home inspection, at that point in time, you'll do what's called a condition waiver, where you are saying, okay, we've agreed on the purchase price, we've agreed on all the terms, and the conditions we had, which were the mortgage approval and getting a home inspection, are totally fine. So we are going to waive those conditions. And at that point, you have a firm purchase contract, which means you are buying the house. Once you've got a firm purchase agreement, there's going to be some time between likely that and when you actually take possession of the property. About 5 to 7 days before you take possession of the property, you're going to want to meet with your lawyer to sign all the transfer documents and all of your mortgage documents. Again, you can use your mortgage broker, or you can use your realtor's recommendation for who you should use for a lawyer. And if they are good, they should make this a very, very simple and easy process for you. Most of the lawyers that we deal with are very easy to deal with, and they are very, very good at what they do because, well, they pay big money to have the education that they do. And step number 10 is you will finally take possession. So this will be on your closing date. And what that will look like is you'll probably have a time of noon on a specific day, usually the last day or the first day of a month, or maybe the middle of the month. And your realtor will show up with the keys to the property, probably a nice big gift basket, and you will actually get to take possession of the keys and the house itself. If everything went well, the house will be clean and in good order, and you will own a new home. And that's pretty much it. That is the 10 steps to purchasing a house in Canada for first-time home buyers. You want to make sure that you hire the best people, the best mortgage broker, the best home inspector, the best realtors, because you want to make sure that you aren't making any mistakes and there's no landmines or surprises throughout the process. By the way, if you are a first-time home buyer or a home buyer in general, we are starting our first-time home buyer boot camp. This is the first time we have ever done this course. So anybody who joins us in this boot camp, which starts tomorrow, which starts April 26th, is going to have the ability to jump in with us and basically have a course created around their needs for them. It is priced so low that anybody who is purchasing a home can absolutely afford it. And my expectation is that the information in this course is going to save people at least 10 to 50 times what they pay for the course. So if you would like to join us, there is a link in the description below. We'll also put a link to our Secrets to Getting the Lowest Interest Rate course in the description below with a 50% off coupon. I sincerely hope you will join us. For those of you who haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and please hit this like button if you found found the information in this video useful, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.